adding more power, you know, like.
Alright, today it is time for the chase-based hydro install on the Drift E36. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. So here is all the stuff that I got going on. I'll show you guys in a second. First, I'm gonna go ahead and rip out the console so I can kind of mock up where I want to install the handbrake. So my stock e-brake does not work. I'm gonna go ahead and rip that out as well so I can get it out of my way. Have more room for the aftermarket one. I do have some of this weld metal. I got this stuff at Home Depot. I think, yeah, I cut some off of it already for something else. I think it's 3/16 and 1/8 inch. I'll probably use the thicker one just because I want it super rigid. So before I get to all that, a few days ago I installed the dual caliper bracket. It's a little weld-on tab in there. I filmed that a few days ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll that now. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is time to go ahead and do a hydro e-brake on my Drift E36. But first, I want to start off thanking all my subscribers. This channel is growing pretty fast. So if you haven't considered subscribing, you like the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So let's go ahead and get on to this install. So here is the hydro itself. I went with the Chase Bays hydro, the standalone system. Quality looks really good on this thing. Absolutely amazing. It did take a while to get here because they were saying they're having problems with their manufacturer or something like that, but the quality looks great. I did get the brake line kit. It's like 150 bucks, but it's all teed up and everything. Goes right to the calipers, so we'll be good to go on that. Can't have a dual hydro without your Wilwood master cylinder, reservoir, all that good stuff. So we got that in here. Got some nice stickers that it came with. Chase base stickers right there. Here are the calipers I got. These are E36 calipers I got at a salvage yard. Here's how I'm gonna mount those calipers with these, I believe it is SRS little mounting tab brackets. So you weld these on to your existing knuckles. So here's the stock caliper. I believe the other one will sit about here. You have to get rid of your ABS, which I've been meaning to get rid of that anyway. It's still on jack stands because I got some tires that I got to mount today. Also, it rained in the E36 again. That's why we got a fan on top. Nothing got damaged, so we're good to go on that. I'll probably do this install at my buddy Jack Davis's place. He's helping me out with the welding since he's a little bit better welder than I am. So let's go ahead, load it up, and head over to his place. So the first step I'm going to do in here is I'm going to go ahead and yank out the ABS sensor. You can see the cord, it's on the tip of my fingers. It's a number 5 hex. There's one screw and then the whole sensor should come out. Before I go ahead and take out the ABS sensor, I'm going to go ahead and take off the caliper and the rotor should pop right off. It is two 16mm bolts right behind here. Unscrew them, yank the caliper off, pull the rotor off. So whenever you get the rotor off, make sure you don't forget this little hex screw here that I forgot to tell you about. I'm going to go ahead and take either some snips or a Dremel and cut off this dust shield, and then I'll give us access to the knuckle behind there. So I ended up having to take off the e-brake assembly, so now I'll be able to get to the bolts to take off the rest of the dust shield because we'll need to be able to get to there to weld both front and back side, along with putting the bolts in for the second caliper setup. The e-brake consists of a bunch of little springs and little pins like this, so you have to line up perfectly and take that out. It's a little bit tricky, but I think you can figure it out. Go ahead and pull the springs out with a pair of pliers, stuff like that. I was thinking about putting the e-brake back in after we do the calipers, but I think I'm just going to leave it out and just park it in gear and stuff like that.
As you see right here, I mean, it'll be sitting on the rotor. We want it to be up. We kind of want to make sure it's following the same groove marks where the old pads were hidden. So probably about here. And then I'll try to look back here.
So we just finished the other side. The way to do this without screwing it up is, for one, this has a tall side and a short side. Make sure it lines up with the other tab. So once you line it correctly, put the caliper, bolt the caliper to this little bracket, put the rotor on, put the second caliper on, and line it up where the caliper sits flush with the rotor and does not seem to rub on it. Then if you can, go ahead and tack it about where it sits, right about there or so, and then take it off, see if it lines up correctly, and then fill your beads in from there. It's kind of trial and error. We had to take it off a couple times to see how it would sit. And then you also kind of have to fill in some of this gapping down here. After you grind all the undercoating off, you should be good to go on welding it. Make sure you tack it up first so you can take it off in case you screw it up.
No, not really.
Just do it.
Like tips and MW step program.
So something we just realized is whenever you're lining up the dual caliper bracket with the second caliper, go ahead and take your pins out here, take this whole back section out, so it'll be a lot easier to access this and line it up properly. Well, this install turned into a 2-day thing. We ran out of welding wire last night. So it's the next day. I'll pick some up on my way back over to Jack's place and hopefully we can get the other side welded in properly. We got most of it welded in, but not quite enough. Ran out of wires. Hopefully we can finish it up today. I need to get some new pads and rotors because my old rotors are worn down pretty good and it's a little bit difficult to get the second caliper to sit properly on the old rotors. We're back here at the Hydrant Install. Got all the interior ripped out of it. I wasn't able to get the e-brake out just yet, but it's not really in my way. So my plan is, if you can see my finger right here is where I'm going to mount it. I haven't really lined it up yet. I'm going to go ahead and take the hydro, place it here, sit in the car, kind of get a feel for it. I am going to get a quick release steering wheel someday. That'll help with kind of spacing out the hydro since the OEM steering wheel is pretty large. So for the reservoir, this little kit that I got from Chase Bays, it came with 2 master cylinder reservoirs. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So I believe you just set it on like that and use one of these hose clamps here. Tighten it down. I'm going to look over the instructions that are somewhere around here to make sure I'm not screwing this up. Andy's over here doing a little ceramic coating to the hood. We're going to try it out. Got some in yesterday. Just protecting the drift car from all the dirt, all the off-roading. It's good.
More interested to be 18 and to be that good of a driver and have a, you know.
So my plan here is to mount it about right here to here. So this little line is where I'm going to cut, weld it from about here to here, also back here from about here to here. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut an even section here. I'm going to run it 90 degrees from here straight down, and I'm going to weld it a little bit along here and along here. So it's kind of going to be like an L bracket, if you will, and just kind of sit on the transmission tunnel. And I'll be able to either drill holes or weld the hydro directly to it. I'll probably end up drilling holes in here. So just finished grinding down the tranny tunnel. I'm gonna go ahead and tack them up real fast here and here so I can see how they look. And if I need to break them free, I can do that and move it around. But I think this spot's gonna work out pretty good. You'll see, you'll get the better picture whenever I tack it. So I just tacked it up. It's actually looking pretty good. Took me a bit to find a good ground spot. I ended up going back here and grinding off this little tab. You see a little tab for the seat to click into. Grinded a bit off that. Works good. Here is how it's going to end up sitting. It's going to end up sitting at a slight angle like that. My plan is there's a hole here in the front. There's a hole right there. And there's a hole down. Oh, and there's a hole down here. So I'll have to take all this reservoir stuff off, but I'll be able to drill. And they provide hardware for these that I can screw into the metal plate that's welded on. In case I ever want to take it off, I can. But I really like the setup where it's at as far as like the steering wheel, handbrake. Not gonna lie, the welds came out pretty decent. I'm kind of getting better at it, learning, teaching myself.
Solid dimes.
The side down here at the bottom half, came out a little bit rough because I was trying to adjust the heat because it was kind of burning through the tunnel because it was a little bit thinner down there. But I kind of adjusted it. I'm going to go ahead and take my sander, just kind of grind it down a little bit. I think I'm going to leave this up here, maybe grind this down just a little bit like right here so it can sit flush and flat where I need it to. Just got done marking the holes, went ahead and center punched them. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill them out. I'm going to start with a small drill bit and then work my way up to the size I need it. Just finished running the lines, so I test drilled a few holes further in the wheel well almost on the side, and it's structural, so there's like 2 layers going on. A little bit difficult, so we ended up going right as it flattens off, going to the trunk, 1 hole on each side. You need a pretty long drill bit, but they come out right there, and it's a nice little distance to the second caliper. And here's the other side, so it literally is maybe about a foot from the hole drilled to the caliper. Allows you plenty of room to work with the bracket and just go straight back and tease off. So we just finished putting on both calipers, running the lines, we're just tightening them. The other side, we got the hydro mounted, it's all good. We're gonna go ahead, fill it up, and bleed the brakes. You bleed them just like normal brakes. Just sit here, pump this, get all the air out of the system. It's held on by 2 bolts right now, one in the front, one in the back, and it seems pretty sturdy. If it comes loose, we might figure out something else to do. So I just finished bleeding the brakes on the hydro, took it out for a test drive, kind of got it warmed up by holding it for a little bit, and it locks them up very good. You'll see a test of it tomorrow in tomorrow's drift event. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or if it helped you out at all, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to stay up to date with all the builds we got going on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one, guys.